Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this special report from MBNK News. I am Veronique Lawson. One of MBN core mission is to provide factual, independent journalism every month. We focus on the vital stories shaping our world, contrasting them with the ultimate truth, the kingdom truth. Our goal is to keep bringing you compelling updates on the most impactful news on global headlines. So let's dive right into this month's editorial special pick with first nationwide hot topic. President Trump at NATO summit, failed attempt assassination on him, national address on the election interference, US and Iran conflict, aliens and UFO disclosure continue, and health. And let's dive in. The month began with President Trump attending a two-day NATO summit held in Ankara, Turkey, on July 7 to 9, where he met with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and on other international leaders. Key topics discussed were transatlantic defense spending, the war in Ukraine, and regional security issues. Let's hear the tale from CSPN. Thank you.
Are further troop drawdowns in Europe likely? And are you satisfied with the progress that NATO allies have
made?
Well,
we're going to see. I was very disappointed with NATO. And frankly, if it weren't held in Turkey, where my friend happens to be a very strong leader, a very strong person, it's possible that I wouldn't have attended. I felt I had to attend because of the fact that, I know he's gone all out. It was a big thing to have NATO come to Turkey or any place else. It's a big thing. But we weren't treated well because we did something in Iran. We don't need anybody's help. I didn't even want their help. But before I asked, they said they wouldn't be there. And we've invested trillions of dollars in NATO. Why? To protect European countries and others, Canada, etc., but to protect people, countries from, generally speaking, it used to be the Soviet Union, now it's Russia. And I say that's fine, but you would think that they'd be very willing to do something to help us, and they really weren't. In the case of the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister, I guess he's no longer there, maybe because of this. It was a very unpopular thing he did. He said, "No, we'll help after the war is over." I said, I don't need that kind of help. We didn't need any help at all. And in a way, I was testing people. I was testing to see whether or not they'd be there, because I've long said that we help them, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. And Italy turned us down, and Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And it's okay. But, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us? We've always been there for them.
Thanks, CSPN, for that report. I couldn't agree more with you, Mr. President. It has to be equal share. Equally important, July 9, while returning from NATO summit, another failed attempt assassination of President Trump made headlines when the Secret Service had him switch plane, leaving Turkey due to a security threat. President Trump flew partly home on an old baby blue Air Force One plane instead of the new Qatari gifted retrofitted red, white, and navy blue jet he arrived in. A surprise swap that came as the US and Iran once again began trading strikes. When asked if he was aware of any credible threat against Air Force One by Iran, Trump said, and I quote, "I have a threat all the time. I'm number one on their list," he said, repeating comments from early Wednesday that he is one of the Iran top assassination targets. Knowing that fact, he is always 10 steps ahead, switched to the older Air Force One at the last minute or last second. What the fake news called a routine security precaution was actually a brilliant trap. a brilliant trap. Seems like the beginning of the Great Purification. The encrypted comms intercept a traitor scrambling, and New York Times journalists hit with emergency subpoenas because they had obituary on an air disaster story pre-written and ready to publish. They were waiting for the crash. However, they fell, and they fell again. The entire rat nest has just been exposed. Let's hear the report from CSPN.
I'd like you to address speculation that you're leaving Ankara not in the new Air Force One because of security concerns involving Iran. You've spoken today twice about them possibly assassinating you and possibly being successful. Did that concern have something to do with it?
Well, I speak about it a lot because, you know, the life of a president is very dangerous. It's 5.2%. You know what a race car driver is? 1/10 of 1%. A bull rider, that looks pretty dangerous to me. It's 1/10 of 1%. No, it's 5.2% is you don't make it. You should have told me, you're an excellent reporter. You should have told me that years ago. Maybe I wouldn't have run. It's a very dangerous profession. No, I'm #1 on the kill list for Iran. They're lovely people. I'm #1. So I don't know. I can't tell you that, but I don't really care because I'm doing my job and I'm doing it, I hope, better than anybody's ever done it, because we have a country that's hot and really, really successful. But I mention it only because it's on the list. I mean, it came out. There was another list came out yesterday, and I'm #1 on. I like being #1 on TikTok better, but I'm #1 on the list for killing. Go ahead.
Hey, Sean McCreesh, New York Times. But why aren't you flying the new plane home?
Say what?
Why aren't you flying on the new Air Force One home?
It's flying to Europe, to one of the big bases, 2 or 3 of the big bases, where we can show it to the people, and we'll be going home by normal methods. But we have it going to Europe, to a couple of bases, actually one in particular, but it's going to go to a couple of bases, stop, so the soldiers can see it, because it's truly magnificent. Yeah, please. Go ahead. Do you want to go?
Truly magnificent. Thank you very much. Thanks, CSPN, for that report. Next, July 16, President Trump addressed the nation on election interference. And the legacy media or lamestream media executive decided behind closed door to censor President Trump's bombshell election integrity address, which exposed Chinese involvement in our election. They choose not to air the address. However, independent and conservative media broadcast it live. President Trump stated during his address that Obama ordered election fraud evidence destroyed in Burns' bag, but they survived and his team has them all. Following his address the next day, his administration released thousands of classified documents that completely expose how the globalist deep state, quote unquote, working through communist China has been attempting to manipulate and steal U.S. election for decades. The classified document will expedite everything happening in the grand jury in 4 Ps, because the fact that they were classified draw out the timeline exponentially, and that isn't a small thing. President Trump mentioned that the interagency, journalists, large U.S. corporation union were all involved with the U.S. government and China as early as 2018 in the interfering in the election, creating negative story and undermining him. That is treason. Additionally, he confirmed that everyone that was involved in challenging the 2020 election showed up in D.C. on January 6, 2021, were all right. He then noted that FBI, DHS, CIA, and other government agencies worked to cool the country. They systematically, overtly, and consistently work to hide critical intelligence from the president, and that's again a treason. Next, he notes the FBI put critical intel and proof of election interference in Bernbach to destroy the evidence. As if it wasn't enough, the CIA sat on information confirming the election system were compromised and overtly hid it, highlighting the ongoing cover-up of the criminal conspiracy to overthrow the government is being hidden by NBC, ABC, and CBS. Lawfully, the CIA is required to inform the Congress, and they didn't. Instead, they signed documents stating, quote, "It was the most secure election in history," end of quote. Meanwhile, the FBI discovered that China was manufacturing ballots for Biden, and they covered it up. Now, the legal system can use those declassified documents to expedite what comes next. Accountability for DHS, CIA, and FBI, and government officials committed treason, all of them. It will provide the impetus to make drastic changes to the election process in the US. It now publicly forced Congress to act. That is treason, and justice must be served. Let's turn our attention to the tale from Live Now from Fox. Thank you.
America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our election infrastructure. This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you. The American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare The intelligence even shows that China has signed a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign.
Wow. Indeed, Mr. President, no trust, no greatness. Thanks live now from Fox for that condensed speech and for covering the President's national address. This is the tipping point, and the world is watching closely. Thank you. Now, shifting gear to ongoing tension between Iran and the U.S. regarding dispute over control of the Strait of Hormuz. Despite Iran and U.S. signed a memorandum of understanding in June to halt military operation and reopening the Strait, Iran force attacked tanker in the Strait of Hormuz on July 13, thus causing U.S. to resume airstrikes and on the country and reinstate its naval blockade on Iran's port. After a pause for few nights in a row to give diplomacy more time to discuss, escalation still continue. This week, Tuesday, July 28, President Trump met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, I think maybe 3.0, in the White House for a diplomatic mission. Meanwhile, Iran and Oman held several rounds of technical talks in Tehran on last Friday and Saturday to discuss management of the Strait of Hormuz. According to Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai. Let's hear the report from Fox News. Thank you.
So, some news before last night's dinner. President Trump confirming talks between the U.S. and Iran are ongoing.
That's right. The commander-in-chief warning Tehran that the U.S. military is ready for a massive round of strikes if needed.
Rebecca Castor is live in Washington with the latest. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning. For the first time in 2 weeks, U.S. Central Command did not announce any new strikes on Iran last night. The president says diplomatic talks have resumed, but he could still greenlight this massive attack he's considering at any point.
Should we expect to see major strikes?
Look, we're talking to them right now. I think they're getting more and more serious as the days go by, for maybe the obvious reason. But we are talking to them right now. Look, there are two ways. I consider that the smarter way, but the other is probably the easier way, doing what we're doing. And we can take that to a much higher level if we want to. You know, we're prepared to do that, as you know. We're locked and loaded. We're locked and loaded and ready to go.
Before last night's apparent pause, the U.S. military completed 13 consecutive nights of strikes on Iranian military targets in an effort to stop Iran's attacks on commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. But now there's another unexpected disruption to the flow of oil in the Red Sea. Iran's proxy in Yemen, the Houthis, are blocking Saudi shipping and fired on at least 3 oil tankers this week. President Trump warned them to stand down or Iran would face the consequences. Meanwhile, other countries are joining the fight against Iran. According to the Wall Street Journal, Bahrain and Kuwait secretly carried out airstrikes on Iranian drone and missile sites earlier this month, the first known direct attacks by Gulf nations against Tehran. President Trump continues to say Iran wants to make a deal, but he thinks it's going to take more time to get the deal he wants. Charlie, Rachel, and Griff, back to you.
All right, Rebecca. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, certainly it is an uneasy situation with Iran right now. You definitely get the impression that Iran has significantly misjudged President Trump, thinking that because it's an election year, they can get away with playing games in the Strait of Hormuz. But that's they've picked the wrong guy to do that.
I think what's interesting is many of his remarks on this situation, for all the threats of, hey, we're going to get you if you don't behave, we're going to continue to pummel you. He still keeps extending the olive branch, which is, I think, the right thing to do. It's also what the American people want him to do. You saw that the MOU, the peace accord or the ceasefire accord that J.D. Vance was sort of heading was wildly popular. So over 60% of Americans said they wanted that. And you see President Trump continuing to say, hey, I would still like to make a deal. I don't think they're ready for it. I don't know what I have to do to get them ready for it, but I want this deal. The American people want the deal. These images that you're seeing of destruction and fire is not what the president wants, and I'm really glad that he's signaling that, because I do believe Americans want this to end, and they want prices for gasoline to go down, and they want to move forward. And he has a big midterm up ahead, where I know he, as you said, despite the fact that he's doing this ahead of a midterm, he does still want to do well in the midterm.
Well, and it's a good point, Rachel, because tomorrow will be exactly 100 days until the midterms.
That's right.
And Iran believes that that is the leverage that they hold over President Trump, that they can cause so much disapproval in this country of what he's doing. But, you know, when you look at what we've seen pretty much over the course of last week and the last 13 days, it feels like we're past the point of negotiations right now. Even though while he's saying he's continuing to talk, we feel past that. Yesterday, the New York Post had a cover that said, go big, then come home. And ultimately, when you compare the Iraq and Afghanistan comparisons of people saying we're getting into another forever war, remember the goals are quite very different. In both of those, we were a ground occupation and we were doing nation building. Neither of those are on the table. This is about preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon and opening up the Strait of Hormuz. And so I think we're likely to possibly see that larger massive attack actually coming to try and hit them hard enough so that the message is clear.
Yeah, I think you're right. Nation building is totally off the table. But as things go with war, you really don't know. No one's actually really said absolutely no to boots on the ground. I hope that's the case. And I hope this doesn't escalate any further. But we should all continue to pray for peace and hope that this resolves itself.
Thanks, Rebecca Castor, Charlie, Rachel, and Griff for that report. Last but not least, the Pentagon released its 4th batch on declassified UFO and unidentified anomalous phenomena UAP files. This news tranche features 40 total files consisting of 19 videos, 14 documents, 4 audio files, and 3 images available on the U.S. Department of War.gov. Let's turn our attention to the tale from Chaos Mughal.
A shape-shifting UFO. Look at that mass. Did you see that? That is wild. Y'all, the U.S. government just released the 4th batch of UFO files, which includes clear footage of a UFO mothership. And it doesn't look how you think. We're starting with a private citizen sighting from July 7th, 2026, where UPS Flight 62 from Louisville to Anchorage to Hong Kong actually captured these 3 strange orbs of light outside their window. This is absolutely fascinating, and I wanted to start with this because one of the UFO videos released by the US government today actually seems to add credence to this particular video, which in my opinion adds credence to the MH370 video and all the videos where we see orbs in delta formation. I find it fascinating, and honestly, if I'm in the air on a plane, a little bit scary. Look at these things, and you actually get to see them move before they fly off screen. To which, after the people on the plane said they never saw them after that. It was just that moment, it was for a while, and once they zoomed off screen, they didn't come back. And the reason it scares me is because that MH370 video is wild. Next, the insane UFO released by the government that seemingly splits into three. We're going to see this orb being tracked by the government, and check as it opens up. Now we're seeing three different orbs of light before it closes back up. That is so strange. And it gets weirder. The government also released this wild clip of what they're calling a shape-shifting UFO. Look at that massive, did you see that? That is wild. Did you see that? That massive craft coming up, here it comes up again, right? It reaches the top, this thing is zooming by. It's huge, it reaches the top, shape-shifts into a thin craft and zips away, almost like it knew it got caught. Bro, what is that? We can't shapeshift, and we can't turn at breakneck speeds like that because we would literally break our neck. That's why it's called that. Oh, and the mothership? Oh, take a look at this. The clearest UFO footage of a UFO mothership. This was captured by the US government and released today as part of the 4th batch of UFO files. This thing is huge and it's monstrous. They're calling it a mothership, and when we zoom in, you're going to see that this does not look like what we would think a mothership looks like. It's not a saucer. It's not an orb. It's a whatever that is. Look how many limbs that thing has, or tentacles. What is happening there? What is that? What were all those little things all over it? Is that what releases the orbs? How big is that? We don't have anything in the background to see to compare. What is that? Like, okay, government, I've been complaining, but well, that's pretty good. The next UFO sighting is absolutely wild, as it is a private citizen account, but it was confirmed by the US government and released by the US government today as part of the 4th batch of UFO files. And like I said, I feel like it adds credence to that first clip that we saw and many of the other orbs out there. Skywatch Signal over on Twitter gave the best summary. In October 2024, at approximately 1851 local time in the northeastern United States, an eyewitness observed a light source below the horizon, hovering above a pond at an estimated distance of 2,700 feet. The luminous object resembled a plasma-like sphere, intermittently changing shape and luminosity. And guys, if we're looking at the clip, I feel like it even brings up another little orb above it and under it. I don't know if y'all are seeing that. Let me know in the comments below, because, wild. At times, the primary light source appeared to separate into smaller luminous points. Yes, a luminous point below the primary source hovered just above the water and did not appear consistent with a surface reflection. The object remained generally stationary for approximately 45 minutes before disappearing. The eyewitness did not hear any sound from the objects. This video was captured by a private citizen on an iPhone and subsequently analyzed and authenticated by the US government. To protect the individual's privacy, the footage has been cropped. Apart from this privacy protective measure, no edits, no enhancements, no alterations have been made to the visual content in this clip. And y'all, I think it's fascinating. What I love about this clip is not just that the US government took this in, analyzed it, and confirmed it, but we're looking at a clip where the witness was so shocked that they stood there as long as they possibly could. This full clip is about 4 minutes and 26 seconds to be exact. Meaning they stood there, they saw this anomaly splitting into other little lights, shape-shifting, getting more luminous, less luminous, doing whatever it wants, and they were like, hell no, I am not missing this, hold all of my calls, we're recording whatever the hell this is. And I agree. And again, I believe this adds credence to those orbs we saw in the beginning of the video, because sometimes when we see orbs, some people are a little iffy on them. They want to see more than just lights in the skies. But if we're talking about plasma, intelligent plasma, and this is something that Even you, the audience, have been mentioning in the comments. I've received emails about it, which I get a lot of emails, so I can't always be on top of all of them, but I do see them. And I do agree that there is the possibility of an intelligent plasma or even plasmoid beings. And this could be something, this could be one of those beings if it's dancing around and doing whatever the hell it's doing. What is it doing at the pond? What is it doing? What is its intention? Right? We're seeing that these lights can obviously fly in delta formation. They can detach. They can separate, reattach to each other, merge into one. So they are acting intelligently. They are out doing things. We see them surrounding aircraft, like we just saw with the UPS plane. And I'm hoping that this is a different case and not as dark. But, you know, the MH370 flight, I'm sorry, I'm going on a whole, I'm just so blown away by the fact that we're getting a confirmed orb plasmoid UFO from the government. And we got a mothership. Like, that's absolutely wild. There's a lot going on in the world, so I know some of it might get overlooked, but it is important that we do take a moment and check this stuff out, because something like this is bigger than all of us. Something extraplanetary, that would be insane. And maybe we can get some of us to lock in, because some of our governments are going a little crazy. But I do love this clip. I do love the orb. Something else I want to mention about this as we get towards the end of the clip is, if you notice, there's a lot of coloration, a lot of pinks and like vibrant blues that flash in. They're momentary, but they flash in there, and that's something that we've seen before in orbs and other UFOs submitted by actual private citizens and viewers. I've mentioned it in many videos. I've called it out that we're seeing these colors that aren't naturally on any of our crafts, or we don't really produce naturally for them to be showing up like that on a flickering light. And I think it's fascinating and wild, and I'm so happy today that we just got this batch of UFOs. I know I just released a video, so second video, because the government actually came through for one thing the one time. I absolutely love it. And I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about all these clips? What do you think about the orbs with the UPS ship versus this orb that we're seeing, plane, versus this orb that we're seeing here by the US government? And what did you think about that wild mothership? Like, we have to have a deep dive on that, because that is crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed and saw some cool new UFO videos with me, because I'm still freaking out.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to MBN&x. We are diving into some intriguing global headlines. So, let's jump right into the next news story. Remember, it's important to stay informed and engaged in global affairs. So, let's stay connected and keep each other in the loop about what's happening around the world. Again, don't forget to hit like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more intriguing content coming up next.
Thank you, Chaos Muga, for that excellent explanation. Indeed, we need to have answer to this question. Is it a novelty balloon, a Pokemon, or what? An intelligence plasma orb, mothership looking like a gobstopper, shape-shifting UFOs, or could there be advanced machine and technology that have been hidden from us, such as free energy, zero-point energy, medbed, teleportation cars? We need to know all of that. Welcome back again. And let's turn our attention to European and Middle East Asia news coverage by our local news correspondent, Victoria.
Thank you, Veronique. We begin with Asia. Typhoon Baby bringing heavy rain and strong winds to Japan, Taiwan, and China after sweeping across the Pacific. Flights and ferry services were cancelled. Residents prepare for severe weather, and authorities issue safety warnings. Al Jazeera's Barnaby Law reports. Let us watch.
On U.S. island territories in the Pacific earlier in the week as a super typhoon, Bavi, now downgraded but powerful nonetheless, is bearing down on East Asia. Heavy rain fell on Japan's southern island of Ishikawa on Friday morning, as people were preparing for the worst of the storm.
I don't think I'll be able to go outside later today or tomorrow, so I'm buying some things in advance.
Authorities have also taken precautionary measures, among them canceling flights and sea travel. That's left a number of tourists stranded.
I've never experienced a direct hit like this. I've been here when typhoons passed nearby, but nothing this severe.
And local businesses losing out.
We were fully reserved this weekend, but bookings were all cancelled, so it's painful.
In Taiwan, people have been on high alert since Thursday. Authorities had warned of waves exceeding 6 meters and rainfall of up to 1,000 millimeters. That's more than a third of the island's annual average, something fishermen said they couldn't ignore.
It was a super typhoon, so there's no way we weren't coming back to shore. It's too dangerous out there, and it's unpredictable. If it starts moving faster and you're at sea, you won't have time to run.
And there's no respite, it seems, for people in mainland China, as the storm threatens to double down on a country still reeling from Typhoon Maysak.
Now, moving on to Ukraine. Ukrainian oligarch has been seriously injured in Monaco after a parcel bomb attack. A manhunt is underway after a Ukrainian oligarch and his family were targeted in a parcel bomb attack in the wealthy La Rouge district in Monaco. The attack left a man and a woman seriously wounded, and a teenager with less serious injuries. According to Monaco's authorities, Vadim Yemolaev, a multi-millionaire Monaco resident, has been subject to sanctions from Kiev since December 2023, and he was also a vocal critic of Russia's war in Ukraine. Let us watch.
A spy movie. A backpack was planted in the doorway of a luxury apartment complex by a person dressed in black in a hoodie in Monaco's wealthy La Rouge district and detonated as a Ukrainian oligarch and his wife and teenage son walked through the door. All were wounded, but Vadim Yemolaev was seriously injured. His wife is in a life-threatening condition with significant injuries to her lower body. A manhunt is now underway across France and Monaco, searching for the suspected bomber who was captured fleeing from the scene on CCTV.
I was in Paris. I settled in Monaco. It has been a little more than 3 years today, and for safety since I have children. And now today I tell myself, even in Monaco, unfortunately there can be what we are also experiencing.
Attacks like this just don't happen in Monaco. This is considered a very safe place, which is why very rich people move there. Authorities have said that this is the first attack of its kind in the Principality's history, describing it as the safest square mile in Europe. Authorities have ruled out terrorism and say that it is likely an attempted assassination.
Nigel Farage has quit as MP for Clacton after a row over undeclared donations, triggering a by-election which he will stand in. Britain is broken and the public know it. And we need change, Mr. Farage said. The issue with my daughter was the final straw. Enough is enough. I've decided that today I will resign as a member of parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers of the entire establishment. These are his words, not my words. Let us watch.
As a member of Parliament for Clacton-on-Sea, thereby forcing a by-election, which would happen, I hope, in short order. No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers up to the entire establishment, to frankly tell them where to go. And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election. I will fight to win. I will fight to continue the political revolution that reform has started. And I would say this to you, the voters of Clacton. If I win, you win. Because if I lose, they win. And we will never with the two old parties, get the type of fundamental change that we need to fix broken Britain. Thank you.
Anne Widdecombe, Conservative MP, was known for her sharp tongue and strong Christian values. Later, she became member of the European Parliament for the Brexit Party and spokesperson for Reform UK. She was a strong critic of Islam, abortion, and woke culture. She was more than 78 years old. Rest in peace. Now, continue with the UK, and now with Keir Starmer gone, the UK has changed his Prime Minister again for the 7th time. And on his first speech as Prime Minister, Andy Burnham says UK politics has not been good enough and blames the 80s for run-ons where political power was centralized, economic power privatized, large parts of the country deindustrialized. Meanwhile, President Trump said, I had a very, very good conversation with the new Prime Minister. And he has got a big job ahead of him, but he will be able to do it. And of course, the USA will be there to help.
I'm fed up with politics. I hear you, and I want to be honest with you. We have not been good enough, and we need to be better. We will be. We will make this moment a circuit breaker for Britain, bringing forward the biggest changes in the last 40 years. A new political model and a new economic model. In the 1980s, Britain took some wrong turns. Political power was centralised, economic power privatised, large parts of the country deindustrialised, and they still haven't recovered. Many feel as though they're still in decline, and they don't have the ability to turn things around. And that's why we will change politics, to make it more collaborative, more about problem solving than point scoring. And we will take power out of here and carry it into every postcode in the land so that they can do more. And in doing more, build a new economy where we put life's essentials back under stronger public control to make them affordable to you again. Reindustrialising Britain, using public procurement to back British industry. Later this year, I will bring forward a new plan for Britain, a 10-year plan, laying out a path from where we are now to where I believe we all want Britain to be, wherever we're coming from.
Let us see what he's going to do. Now, moving on to France. The Paris Court of Appeal on Tuesday, the 6th of July 2026, sentenced Marine Le Pen, leader of the National Rally, to 3 years in prison and a 15-month ban from holding public office for misuse of public funds, opening the door for her to run in the April 2027 presidential elections. Let us watch.
Que je ne ferai pas campagne sous bracelet électronique. Mais comme j'ai la plus...
Also in France, the French Parliament has passed assisted dying bill for some terminally ill adults. And after years of debate, the French MPs, after years of debate, the French MPs have voted to adopt a bill to establish a right to assisted dying for some adults suffering from an incurable condition, basically, in a nutshell, euthanasia. Let us watch the tale.
Exprimé 532, majorité 267, pour 291, contre 241, l'Assemblée nationale a adopté.
French MPs voted on Wednesday to adopt a law allowing the right to assisted dying for some terminally ill adults under strict rules. The bill primarily provides for medical-assisted suicide, allowing eligible patients to receive and self-administer lethal medication under strict conditions. Only those physically unable to do so would be allowed to receive assistance from a doctor or nurse. Patients seeking to end their lives would have to be at least 18 years old and either French citizens or legal residents of France. Many French people have travelled to neighbouring countries where assisted suicide or euthanasia are legal. The law, backed by the lower chamber, still needs to be examined by France's highest constitutional authority. The bill was one of the flagship pledges of French President Emmanuel Macron's second five-year term, which he described as the French model for end-of-life care. France joins 11 countries that have also adopted assisted dying laws, each with their own rules and criteria.
Now, moving on to Spain, where President US Donald Trump has reached into Spain, embarrassing them on the world stage and calling them a wasted cause. Trump has once again escalated tensions with Spain over defense spending, claiming that the US response could include cutting off bilateral trade. The dramatic confrontation comes during the NATO summit, where disagreements over military spending, commitments, and alliance priorities have taken center stage. Trump is done with Spain, as he says. The current Spanish government is truly, truly horrific, corrupt beyond words, work with no limits, and useless without comparison. He was also unapologetic with the NATO organization. Let us watch.
President Donald Trump has ripped into Spain, embarrassing them on the world stage and calling them a wasted cause.
Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it out. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate, they don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please.
Trump continued his tirade against Spain, attacking them for being terrible and how they treat NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte.
Watch them come running back. Oh, they'll come running back. They treat this man terribly, and this man's a good man too, great man. They're lucky they have him. But Spain doesn't agree to anything.
Trump also announced he will stop all trading with Spain while slamming them for being hopeless and bad people.
I don't want to do any more trade with them. All right? Yes, take it immediately. Don't even talk to them. They're hopeless. Bad people, because, you know, they have everybody else going and paying and working in Spain. In particular, Spain. There are a couple of others, but in particular, Spain. They're open about it. They're hostile about it. And let's see how hostile they remain when they call up and they, please, we want to trade with you, sir. We want to trade with you, sir. They make so much money with us, and we're going to see that they make a lot less. I want no business with them.
On Air Force One after the summit, Trump announced that Spain has come crawling back.
But Spain came back all the way today. Spain was very generous today. You know, I told them I'm going to stop trading. They honored the request for lots of payment. And if they didn't, we wouldn't even talk to them. They were very bad. They behaved very badly, in my opinion.
Online commentators reacted to Spain caving to Trump, with this person saying, wow, Spain caves to Trump, agrees to dish out massive funding after he vowed to cut off all trade. The socialist prime minister was no match. Art of the deal. And this commentator also said, President Trump just revealed that after he publicly threatened to cut off all trade with Spain today, Spain caved and cut a check for NATO. That's how it's done.
I'm not happy with NATO because of what they did with Greenland, and I'm not happy with NATO because of the fact that they didn't want to help us with the #1 state sponsor of terror, that's Iran. They were unwilling to help us. When we wanted them, we didn't want them badly, but we did say, if you want to join us, and they all said no. But when they could have, they weren't there for us, and we've been there for them.
And indeed, whilst the press is leaving, I want to thank you for what you did with hosting this event. It is really huge, to quote somebody.
Last but not least, Spain are FIFA World Cup 2026 champions, sparking jubilant celebrations across Madrid. Thousands of fans filled the streets, waving flags, singing and celebrating Spain's first World Cup triumph since 2010. Supporters described scenes of joy and national pride, with celebrations expected to continue long into not just the night, but days ahead. Let us celebrate with Spain.
New Jersey, the winners of FIFA World Cup 2026, Spain!
Well, that is it. Spain have won the World Cup and the fans here have gone absolutely wild. They are going to be celebrating all night. The last time Spain were World Cup champions was in 2010. These supporters are not going to forget tonight.
We got to be here. We got to be here with the whole ambience. It's fiesta, fiesta, fiesta.
I'm feeling so excited. I'm feeling so happy. This is such an incredible moment for Spain right now. I'm so proud of all players.
Just spoke to one supporter who said that this party is going to last for the next 4 years until the next World Cup. Natasha Balanc, Al Jazeera, Madrid.
Well, I am not very much into football, but I'm Spanish and Spain won. So, ¡que viva la Roja! And this is all I've got time for you now. Thank you very much. Back to you, Veronique.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to MBN. We are diving into some intriguing global headlines. So, let's jump right into the next news story. Remember, it's important to stay informed and engaged in global affairs. So, let's stay connected and keep each other in the loop about what's happening around the world. Again, don't forget to hit like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more intriguing content coming up next.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Victoria, for the special coverage of Middle East, Europe, and Asia. Wow, indeed, so much is happening right there in Europe. Yes, I also agree with you on the World Cup. Yes, Viva la Rioja, Spain. That's good. That's great, great, great. So welcome back again for all of you. It's great staying up to date with the latest development on health. So let's turn our attention now to hear the tale from our health news reporter, Aida. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Veronique. This is Aida from MBNK News. Today we're coming with the July health news. Let's start. So our first news is about a parasite that is causing an outbreak called cyclosporiasis. It's causing explosive diarrhea all over the United States. Let us watch.
Growing outbreak of the gastrointestinal infection Cyclospora, found first in iceberg lettuce sold across the country.
And it could be one of the largest outbreaks of foodborne illness in the U.S. in 3 decades. Jen Sullivan explains how you can avoid getting sick.
Cases of a diarrhea illness known as cyclosporiasis have risen drastically this summer. It's a gastrointestinal infection caused by a parasite.
It's transmitted by food and water.
As of Friday, 41 states have reported at least one case this season, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But this specific outbreak is concentrated in the 9 states listed on this map. Their health departments have reported over 12,000 cases of cyclosporiasis so far this summer. At least 98 people have been hospitalized, according to the CDC.
This may be a more complicated set of outbreaks than simply just one with one source.
Symptoms include explosive diarrhea, nausea, abdominal cramping, bloating, and fatigue. And unlike a stomach bug that lasts 24 to 48 hours, symptoms of cyclosporiasis can last for weeks if untreated. The Food and Drug Administration says the likely source linked to the 9-state outbreak is shredded iceberg lettuce from Taylor Farms to Mexico. The company voluntarily recalled the product last week.
We do have the outbreak under control. We have done extensive forensics, epidemiological forensics.
But experts say symptoms of the illness can take up to 2 weeks, and the epidemiological curve of new cases hasn't yet slowed.
It's going to be hard to sort this out for one of these major centralized distributors.
The CDC recommends washing all fruits and vegetables thoroughly before eating and notes washing alone cannot guarantee the parasite's removal, but cooking can kill the parasite. And make sure you're not eating lettuce that has been recalled. Jen Sullivan, Local 10 News.
Wow, wow, wow. Well, let's talk about recalls that are going on right now in the month of July, especially in cancer medications and even in disinfecting alcohol. Let us watch.
Home or medicine cabinet right now, you need to hear this. Today's recalls cover everything from cancer medications to everyday antiseptics. The FDA is recalling Pemetrex for injection 500 milligrams made by Reliance Life Sciences due to lack of sterility assurance. A non-sterile injectable drug is extremely dangerous. Stop using it immediately and contact your healthcare provider.
The NHT is recalling certain 2024-2025 Phoenix and 2025-2026 Metrolite transit buses made by Coach and Equipment. A wheelchair lift may continue moving while occupied, posing a serious injury risk. Contact your transit operator immediately.
The FDA is recalling Gasco isopropyl alcohol 70% in 16-ounce bottles. The product is subpotent, meaning it may not effectively kill germs. Stop using it and dispose of it safely.
The FDA is also recalling Drogueria San Juan, Puerto Rico isopropyl alcohol 70% in 1-gallon containers, distributed by Drogueria San Juan, also found to be subpotent. Discontinue use immediately.
Reliance Life Sciences is recalling bortezomib for injection 3.5 milligrams due to lack of sterility assurance. This injectable cancer medication could be contaminated. Patients and providers should stop using affected vials right away.
Also from Reliance Life Sciences, Pemetrex for injection 100 milligrams is recalled for the same reason: lack of sterility assurance. If you or a loved one uses this medication, contact your oncologist or pharmacist immediately.
Reliance Life Sciences is recalling azacitidine for injection 100 milligrams due to lack of sterility assurance. This chemotherapy drug must be sterile to be safe. Stop use and speak with your healthcare provider now.
Medline Remedy Specialized Silicone Cream, also called Hydroguard D, is being recalled by Biomed Laboratories. Formaldehyde levels exceeded safe specifications. Stop applying this cream and contact Medline for a refund or replacement.
The FDA is recalling Drogueria San Juan, Puerto Rico isopropyl alcohol 70% in 16-ounce bottles for being subpotent. This is a separate size from the gallon version. Discard it and do not use it for disinfection.
Huva Pharma is recalling compounded methohexytol sodium 10 milligrams per milliliter due to failed impurity and degradation testing. This anesthetic drug does not meet safety standards. Healthcare facilities should quarantine and return all affected units immediately.
Stay safe out there.
Wow. Well, next we have that a lot of dietitians and nutritional experts are concerned about nutritional deficiencies coming from the treatment of GLP-1s for weight loss. So let us watch.
GLP-1 drugs have revolutionized the weight loss battle for many Americans whose lives have dramatically changed. But as Christian Garzone explained, some experts are warning the jury is still out on these drugs, and not getting proper nutrition while using them can endanger your health. Christian?
Yeah, you've probably heard of drugs like Wegovy, Zepbound, and Ozempic. All of these are GLP-1s. They work to suppress your appetite, and the extra weight can melt off rapidly. Not eating what your body needs, though, can cause poor health. For those struggling with weight loss, the recent onset of GLP-1 drugs into the prescription marketplace has been a godsend. Yet dietitians like Holly Gilligan with URMC are warning the science behind these drugs is still fresh.
People are losing weight very quickly.
Gilligan says the drugs work to reduce a user's appetite. Some can go without eating, not getting needed nourishment.
You are on a GLP-1 losing weight quickly. there is a need for a little bit more protein.
Gilligan says that protein's essential for maintaining muscle mass, which you do not want to lose. She warns there are other downsides to GLP-1s.
Some diarrhea, some nausea, some vomiting.
Nancy Cushman of Palmyra has been using Zepbound for a year. She turned to it after years of no diet regimen working.
I've lost 38 pounds as of yesterday morning, and this morning I was the same. It's doing very, very well for me.
She gets a 1-month supply injected at home once per week. Her diet is high on protein and vegetables, usually just dinner. Usually.
Sometimes I'll eat a little lunch at 1, 2 o'clock. General Hospital's on. I got to watch General Hospital. So I might have a little something then.
But for Karen Hummel of Greece, her GLP-1 experience has not been like Cushman's.
I started having some kidney issues. I lost the weight, but I didn't want to damage my kidneys anymore, so I kind of took myself off.
In short, everyone is different. Gilligan says to always follow up with your provider and check in with a dietitian.
Balance is key. We can't prioritize just one thing. We need to make sure we have all aspects and have that balance in place.
And then there are folks like Tracy here, Cargraywall. No GLP-1 drugs with her, just years of diet and exercise to lose significant weight, as you can see right there. She claims with patience and discipline, this is still a good old-fashioned route to take.
Wow, wow. Okay, so now with this summer rising record temperatures, we need to learn how to prevent a heat stroke. Let us watch.
Well, Canada has seen some intense heat waves this summer. We know that, right? Those high temperatures along with the humidity can make it really difficult on the body and for the body to self-regulate, which has the potential to lead to heat stroke. So here this morning with more is family physician Dr. Vera Cahoot. Great to have you in this morning, doctor.
Good morning.
So let's talk about what happens to our body when we overheat.
So our body likes to maintain a temperature around 36, 37, right? And we have our own personal air conditioning unit, okay? So what we do is when we get hot, the body starts to punt blood flow away from internal organs to the skin so we can sweat. So there's our air conditioning, and that allows for us to cool off. If we then turn around and have issues where we are not being hydrated enough, what happens is the body continues to divert flow to the skin in an attempt to sweat. But the problem is there comes a final point. If you can't sweat because you don't have enough blood flow or liquids coming in to do the diversion, then what ends up happening is your heart rate is getting faster. Okay, initially your blood pressure goes up in an attempt to keep up with this air conditioning need, but at some point in time, things start to go backwards. If you can't create sweat, you don't have enough fluid, you're getting dry, we've got a problem.
Okay, so what are the signs? What should we be looking for?
Okay, so the progression is you get hot, you get thirsty, you want to do things, you want to cool off, but at some point in time you may not be doing that very well. So your internal body temperature is going higher. Initially, you continue to sweat, but if you don't have enough fluid volume in there, the body's going to go, hang on, I can't sweat. I have to protect my internal self. So I have to protect my heart, my kidneys, my brain. And so what ends up happening is the internal body temperature is now rising. And as it rises, we are getting much more critically unwell.
So I'm looking at some of the signs of heat. So like headaches, like you experience the headaches, what else?
Yes, it's muscle cramps, you get sweating, you feel thirsty initially, but you might not be able to do anything about it. Your pulse is rapid, your heart rate is breathing. You might feel lightheaded, you might actually feel nauseated, you will feel dizzy. That's early stages. Okay. As you get sicker, or as you get hotter, you can't really manifest all of that. You might find yourself getting nauseated. When you get to a place where your body temperature is getting close to 40, inside, which is very high, you might start to have brain issues because the brain is now sick. It's not getting perfused. So you get nauseated and you can't drink, but you also can get confused. You might get slurred speech. You might find yourself feeling very agitated. You really might not be very conscious of what's happening to you anymore.
Right. And how quickly can this happen?
It can happen actually incredibly quickly. You can go from being heat exhausted, where you're still thirsty and craving and trying to do something, to a state where because you don't have enough fluid, where the body can just crash. Okay.
We're talking a matter of, like, it could be...
Depends on what your hydration status was before you got into that heat exhaustion stage, and it depends on the temperature, it depends on humidity.
Okay.
Because when humidity is up, you can actually get to this state much quicker than you can if it's dry.
Okay, so what can we do to prevent this from happening?
So a couple of things. First of all, in general, when there are warm days, and even if they're humid, please drink fluid whether you are thirsty or not. Don't rely on thirst. There are many things that can get in the way of thirst: age, drugs, medication, all sorts of stuff. If you turn around, wear loose clothing. Don't wear things that are compressive. Wear things that are light and colored or not colored so that you have airflow. If it's hot outside, please don't go and exercise outside between the hours of about 10:30 to 3. That's when it's the hottest. If you are in a position where you can get to a cool place, get to a cool place and stay there. If you don't have access to air conditioning, fanning, okay? Get under trees, get under places where you can cool off. Cool compresses to the head, face, trunk. Okay, those are really, really important.
And also to look out for, I mean, you can notice potentially the signs in yourself, but those around you as well.
Very important to look at other people, because if you see people suddenly starting to get very, very sort of confused, or they're sort of very quiet, they're looking very, very hot, you touch them, they're hot, start moving, okay? When in doubt, always call 911. Heat stroke is a very serious event, and people do die from it. So the end result is always err on the side of helping and making sure that you do something. If someone's not doing well, lie them down, put their feet up, open their clothes, get air going, fan them, spray water on them, okay? And if they're not nauseated, vomiting, or confused, try and get them to sip fluids. Okay.
All right, we're going to end on that strong message. Dr. Cahoot, always good to have you in. Thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Wow, make sure that you stay hydrated this summer. Now, next, we have a new treatment for type 1 diabetes that is going to make the life easy for those that suffer type 1 diabetes. Instead of injecting, they're going to be doing something else with this new treatment. Let us watch.
Tonight, a medical breakthrough is showing promise for millions of Americans with type 1 diabetes. It's an alternative for taking insulin without the injections. CBS's Mark Strassman has details.
Tacey Segrist is a bouncy 8th grade athlete in Oklahoma with type 1 diabetes. When she was 10, Tacey began a routine she's always hated: 7 to 10 insulin shots a day.
I started freaking out so much I made myself cry.
Did you have to try to find a private place to do it?
I would usually do it like in the bathroom, or like not do it around everyone else because I was too scared of what other people would think.
Tacey showed us her new option, this insulin inhaler called Afrezza. She was part of a year-long research study by the drug maker Mankind. Her mother calls the inhaler a game changer.
You don't have to worry about an extra piece of technology on your body or on your child's body.
Dr. Casey Berman, a pediatric endocrinologist, agrees the inhaler is a breakthrough. Less painful than needles, less disruptive than needles or a pump.
It's allowing families to have choice and more options when there's so few options already in this condition.
There are more than 300,000 Americans under the age of 20 with type 1 diabetes. What this tiny inhaler gives them, many for the first time, is a low-key convenience. Especially for athletes like Tacey, who loves to run. No more interrupting a track meet to hide somewhere and give herself a shot.
It's definitely helped me become more confident.
It's not this big scary monster anymore.
You do it, you move on.
We do it, we move on.
Tacey's not stressed about her diabetes anymore. Her inhaler lets her exhale.
That was very practical for diabetes type 1. Now next, we have a new promising medication for Alzheimer's. This is very dear to me since my father used to suffer Alzheimer's. So let us watch.
A glimmer of hope for the millions of Americans and families affected by Alzheimer's disease. As Ted Linder reports, a new experimental drug is showing promise in the fight against Alzheimer's.
It may be a breakthrough in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. Researchers say an experimental drug may help slow Alzheimer's in a different way than other drugs have in the past.
This drug is a gene silencing therapy. It works by targeting the mechanism that normally produces tau. in the body.
Tau is protein in the brain, and it's one part of a toxic duo which fuels Alzheimer's. Medical researchers have tried to target tau in the past, but those attempts have failed until now, with a new experimental drug which lowered tau levels.
The lowest dose showed the greatest effect, but all doses showed some effect on 5 out of 6 of those cognitive or functional scales that we used.
Biotechnology company Biogen did a study of about 400 people. In addition to lowering tau, the study also showed slowed cognitive decline. The positive results now prompting a larger study to prove the experimental drug's benefit.
This is really quite promising if it were to hold up in a larger, appropriately powered and designed trial.
And some Alzheimer's drugs are given through the bloodstream via infusions or injections. This one is injected in the fluid surrounding the spinal cord, providing a straighter path to the brain. Alzheimer's affects more than 7 million Americans, and it's still not clear what exactly causes it.
With every trial, with everything that we do, we learn so much more, and so I think this is really quite exciting, and the team should be commended for the work.
Okay, those were your health news for July. Back to you, Veronique. Thank you.
Welcome back, and thank you, Aida, for that health report. Indeed, so much is going on around the world. Also on health, there's a lot of changing, great improvement. Beautiful, thank you. Rapid change to the point that is frightening. Well, at a time like this, staying positive is not a denial. It is a rebellion, because to hold your light in a world that's constantly trying to drag you into fear and heaviness is an act of resistance in itself. So take each day as a reminder that one thing that is constant is change. One thing that is constant is change. And stay positive, steady, embracing the good, and keep going. And this wraps up today's edition of MBNK News special global news coverage on air on Global Headline for July 2026. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember to smash that like button and subscribe for more updates. Stay informed, stay safe out there. Men and Call, sign off. See you next time.